All right, now growing up, you was a great baseball player. You played basketball the majority of your middle years. Now it's time to go to college. And so, what did you decide to do?
Actually, I was very unsure about college. I really just was going to go to Indiana State and really not play any sports. But Coach Richards came to me and asked me, Jermaine, are you interested in playing football? Going to college and playing football? And I said, yeah. And he said, well, I can get you somewhere if you actually really want to do it and you're dedicated. And I told him I was, and he put forth just as much effort as I did as far as getting myself better. And he actually did a lot of the researching for different schools for me, and sent me on a lot of recruits, a lot of visits. Had a lot of schools actually come to Central to actually see what I actually was all about mentally, not more so what I did on the field. I was, like I said, I was more so a possession receiver. I only had 10 catches for I think like 180 yards, and I only played 8 out of the 10 games because of injury. But based off of those stats alone and my size and what Coach Richards politicked on what he believed I could be as far as my potential, you know, ended up landing me at the University of St. Francis.
Big time program.
Right, and the option I actually had before that was actually a school down in Iowa. That was a Division III school,
Okay.
and I actually traveled all the way down there to Iowa. Yeah, it was an experience, but I just didn't think it
And
was
what
the right
school
fit.
was that?
I think that school was named Aurora.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too far from Carl Biddings and Marcus Reeves down there to northern Iowa. I came down there. I used to have a big afro back then. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I wore my EC Central Letterman's jacket. So word got out that some guy from EC Central was down there with a big afro. Yeah, and everybody heard about that. But yeah, that's where my decision for college landed. And I really got to thank Coach Richards for that, man, because honestly, I wouldn't have never thought about going to college to play football, let
Okay.
alone be successful.
Okay. So now you arrived at the University of St. Francis as a freshman. Give us your mind state on what your goals was as an early athlete at the university.
Well, when you come in as a freshman, it's just like almost like high school all over again. You really got to make a name for yourself. And by me being a freshman at the University of St. Francis, the one up I had on pretty much everybody else was that we all pretty much, even though some weren't freshmen, were all starting out as first year because the program was a first year program. So it really wasn't a set starter at any position. So you pretty much set your own ticket for your future at that university. And starting out, I actually started out as the number 2 receiver.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that right there for me was a big accomplishment because I really just wanted to show that I deserved to be here. I deserved to get this scholarship. That was my whole goal starting out as a freshman. You
Gotcha.
know, I didn't really want to over set my goals too high and underachieve, but I didn't want to also set them too low and then make it too easy to hit.
Okay. Explain to us the type of athletes you play with. I know you expressed earlier to me about Keon Lindsay, the standout running back from Bicheno.
Right.
Who else did you play with that was um, on a great level like yourself?
I would say another standout athlete. It was a young guy, man. His name was Justin Ferris from Ben Davis.
Okay.
This was a guy we actually played against in high school my senior year as well. Um, he remembered me when we played against him in high school because I used to wear a do-rag under my helmet. And first day of practice, I had that do-rag on. And he came up to me. He's like, I remember you from when we played at Central. And he was actually one of those lockdown corners. He was a little physical guy because he really wasn't that fast. So his whole objective was just to keep you on the line of scrimmage and not let you run your route. And that's pretty much how he played his whole time at the university. And he actually earned him a couple of All-American honors.
Okay. Okay. So as I know, St. Francis basically y'all win conference every year, right?
Yeah, every year outside of that first year, we kind of went 2-8 that
Two
first
and
year.
eight. Okay. Okay. So your next 3 years, you guys win conference. Explain to us how it feels to be a dominant program. Because coming from East Chicago, we don't really football wise, we didn't win too much, but.
I would say a lot of it, man, is really is really based off of the coaching staff there at the University of St. Francis. They pride themselves in the, making their players the best players they can be. Our coach, Coach Donnelly, he used the philosophy of, always talked about potential. And you might have what we call a normal sized glass of potential, but if your glass is halfway full, your goal should be to overflow that glass, because you might be the most talented, but if you're always playing with the half glass, you're never reaching that full potential. So he always took us that extra step, that extra mile to get your cup to overflow. Gotcha. And that's something that I still use today. It really doesn't matter the size of the cup, if you got a little cup, medium cup, large cup, but the whole goal is to overflow that cup with as much of your potential that you could possibly, let out.
Okay. So your last 2 years of college, you had some good seasons, right?
Yeah, it was actually a rocky season for me. This is what earned me the nickname Randy Moss in college. My coaches started calling me kind of like a head case, because he said one day you might show up, and then the next day you're in your Randy Moss mode. Okay. A lot of that was just mentally not being fully focused. A lot of my years at St. Francis, I was behind an All-American up until my senior season. So that was kind of difficult, because when you're behind an All-American, you're really not going to get as much time as you wanted to. And I actually just wanted to get moved to the other side, and I never ever got moved to the other side. So that's something I had to deal with. But once my opportunity came, I shined. But my attitude that I was expressing, kind of set me back a little bit. So I was kind of a up and down player that last year. But coach stuck with me, and he gave me my chances, and I prevailed with those opportunities that he gave me.